Did you know India is the 6th largest electricity consumer in the world? Meanwhile, about a quarter of our 1.2 billion population does not have access to electricity. As the demand outstrips the supply, the remaining population is left to deal with regular power cuts, something that unfortunately most of us are all too familiar with. But as this show has proven before, out of challenge can come opportunity and innovation. Can India's blackouts take us towards a renewable future? Will we see a time when there are zero blackouts and zero dark villages? I am here on the terrace of ONGC residential complex in Mumbai. They are one of the first companies to install a hybrid solar system of both solar and wind within the city of Mumbai. From here, I bring you this episode which will take us towards India's journey on the path of alternatives. We will investigate individuals and companies who are exploring renewable sources for uninterrupted, clean, cost-effective energy. The development of wind power began in 1990s and has increased in the last few years. We have the 5th largest installed wind power capacity in the world. Indeed, in locations where the wind blows consistently, nothing equals the dependability of wind energy. How can wind farms become a feasible energy source? Can you really save money by using this energy? Mytrah Energy India Limited provides answers to all such queries. It's one of India's fastest growing independent power producers with a focus on developing wind power.
Flutter, rustle, sweep. The power of wind is all around us. And what if that same power can be harnessed for producing clean and green electricity in India, which contributes to the state electricity grids? Where one of the biggest challenges is a huge power deficit. That's exactly the idea that entrepreneur Ravi Kailas had when he founded Mytrah Energy in 2010.
India had 12,000 megawatts of operating wind assets, and it was the 5th largest wind energy producer in the world in 2010. But the average ownership was only 10 or 12 megawatts, and we had no company of any size or scale in India at that time where wind energy was a key part of their business.
Set in Anantapur district, 300 kilometers from Hyderabad, is one of the sprawling wind farms where Mytrah Energy has its presence. This is also one of the places where the team behind Mytrah Energy is seeking to give wind power an equal play in the country's energy basket. The idea is to blow away the inertia in the wind energy sector in India, wherever since the first wind turbine was set up almost 20 years ago. No private enterprise has looked at wind as a serious alternative contender in producing utility-scale power.
The way that wind energy produces power is very similar to other forms of power generation. For example, in thermal power generation where you use coal. So coal is used to heat water, and the water moves the turbine, and that turbine in turn runs a generator that produces power. Similarly, in hydro, there's a run of the water, and that turns a turbine that produces power. Similarly, in wind energy, the wind blows the blades around, and it is connected to a generator that produces power. Each of these turbines that you see behind me produce about 2 megawatts of power. So we are talking of a very large production capacity for power.
Wind was a carefully thought out proposition for Mytrah Energy, and the team at Mytrah believes that India has the potential to add 200,000 megawatts of wind power over the next 30 years and make it as cost effective as other conventional sources of power.
If you look at wind, the impact on the environment is minimal. The cost of producing power from wind is actually very competitive to virtually every other source of power, including that of coal. And if you're looking at the potential, India has a potential of 200 gigawatts of wind power. To put that in perspective, India has a total operating capacity of all forms of power today set up over the last 50 years of 200 gigawatts. So we are talking of almost a one-to-one addition simply with wind power. So it's a significant mainstream source of power.
Mytrah Energy has entered into framework agreements with other established wind sector players, one of which is Suzlon, which is also the world's fifth leading wind turbine supplier, for production of approximately 3,000 megawatts of wind power.
Suzlon has introduced Suzlon has always been at the forefront of technology. We have deployed double-fed induction generator technology, which is one of the most advanced technologies. We have actually a full-fledged technology center in Germany for product designing, developing and system designing of wind turbines. And then we also have a full-fledged blade design and development technology center in the Netherlands in Hengelo.
We found a Suzlon in Mytrah. When we started off Suzlon, we had great dreams, great vision, and we found a similar vigor in Mytrah. So why not partner with Mytrah and deliver what the country wants it.
From a rank outsider to the wind industry, to making Mytrah Energy a company that has made India sit up and take notice of a potent, cost-effective and a renewable form of power. Ravi Kailas believes that it's the little things that count in painting the planet green.
I think we should aspire towards a zero carbon footprint. We chose to call ourselves Mytrah Energy, not Mytrah Green or Mytrah Renewable or Mytrah We Will Change the World Limited. So we believe that every company can aspire to build an enterprise that has low impact on the environment and make it as a part of your daily life. It is not a special objective in itself.
It's no doubt that we live in a land of ample sunshine. In fact, India receives more than 300 days of clear sunlight. It seems that if it were up to the sun, our energy concerns would be minimal. In more ways than one, the future would look brighter. India's ambitious mission to drastically boost solar energy capacity over the next 12 years has prompted companies to increase solar panel production. One of the key players in this field is Mytrah, which is powering up villages through its photovoltaic solutions.
Rona Ram has been living near the Tivri village in the Jodhpur district of Rajasthan for the past 60 years. The head of a large family, he raises cows and goats and also has a small plot for farming. But his life and those of his neighbors underwent a major transformation 2 months ago.
जुगों से रह कई बरसों से रह रहे कोई बिजली पानी नहीं है अब 2 महीना हो जाए बिजली आई है और हम तो खुशी है बिजली आई दिन अच्छा आराम है फायदा ये ऐसा लाइट है तेल है वो मतलब केरोसिन नहीं सजता है बहुत फायदा है बच्चा पढ़े है
मेरा नाम सुगना राम 6th क्लास में पढ़ते हूँ जी 12 वर्ष का मैं हूँ घर की बिजली आ गई है रात के मैं पढ़ते हूँ
Studying in the night without breathing in the toxic fumes of a kerosene lamp, making plans of purchasing a fan to beat the scorching heat of Rajasthan. These are just some of the joys of electricity that have finally reached Rona Ram and his family in their remote home. They get power from the state grid, which in turn is supplied with electricity from this solar farm set up by Mytrah.
So our plant in Tivri, which is about 40 kilometers from Jodhpur, is amongst the first plants that came up in India. The total size is about 5 megawatts. It uses in excess of 60,000 amorphous silicon quarter-size panels. It cuts down carbon dioxide emissions by about 8,000 tons annually. and it powers close to 10,000 homes in that area.
1 out of every 4 Indians today really has no access to power. We're talking about living in darkness, and that too for a country which receives 300 days of clear sunlight. And as we stand on a sunny day like this in Rajasthan, just 5% of this sunlight can be used for eliminating darkness, eliminating all of the power shortages in the country, achieving Shunya, power deficiency.
Realizing the potential of solar energy to generate power, Mytrah ventured into the field in 2006. 7 years down the line, they are one of India's largest manufacturers of solar panels and modules, which are manufactured at their facility in Greater Noida.
This is India's largest integrated manufacturing facility with 3 different technologies and currently focusing primarily on crystalline silicon. Module being the single most important component of the plant that gets constructed to deliver power in the development side. The panel becomes very important. So we are India's largest manufacturer, and that's the facility that you see where we are manufacturing these panels. So the plant that you see here, which is right behind me, in front of me and on my right, is firstly the only solar manufacturing capacity in the world which has been rated 3 times in a row 5 stars by TUV on quality processes and procedures.
Mytrah modules are specifically designed to generate optimum energy from sunlight and can withstand the roughest of conditions. The modules use high-efficiency multicrystalline silicon solar cells. So just what is the science that is converting sunlight into electricity?
So these panels, as you see them, is made up of 4 layers. The first layer is that of glass. That's the one that is getting all of the sunlight. And then there are 3 layers. DuPont actually supplies materials into 3 out of those 4 layers here. And because of the innovation and the technology inputs that we constantly put into these panels are then able to convert the electricity far more efficiently. And when we're talking about the technology here, the crystalline silicon technology, it has its genesis in the sand. It's got the sand which you can actually see on the seashore by the riverbeds, and that is then purified and then made into small cells like these. And these cells are then strung together to make a panel which then converts the sunlight into electricity.
Mytrah photovoltaic solutions are suitable for all sorts of purposes, be it residential, commercial or industrial.
Jammu and Kashmir is blessed with amongst the best quality of sun, more so in the Ladakh and Leh region where crystalline silicon technology works the best, because at high amount of sun but lower temperature is the best conditions in which solar energy operates. So that's the best available in these parts of the country. We powered some 21 state-run hospitals in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. With almost 1.5 megawatts cumulatively installed, solar energy is already making impacts on lives and bringing already the levels of energy poverty to 0 in that state.
As one of the top renewable sources of power, safe and clean, solar energy has enormous potential to resolve the energy crisis in India.
Here we are talking about 1 in every 4 Indians today having no access to power, and here you have an infinite resource which is in abundance, which has that ability to eliminate darkness and have 0 villages with no power cuts any time of the day. So we're talking about bringing that smile back into that child's face when the child reaches out and switches on that electricity and has that light coming on at his house.
If sun and wind can be the primary alternative sources, then biomass energy could be equally resourceful. After the break, we will take a look at how biomass plays a vital, if unexpected, role as an energy source.